Hey, everybody. So the Trump nightmare is starting. I'm here with comedian Jim Earl and Ron Placone. Hello, fellas. How are you?
Hi.
Hey, Jimmy.
All right. So, well, here's the headline from the New York Times. It says Trump's chief strategist says news media should, quote, keep its mouth shut. They certainly have had their brains off since the election and before. I know that. So might as well turn their mouth off. This is not good, actually. So here's what it says. I'll read it to you. There's a lot of text there, so I'll read it to you. This is from the New York Times. It says Stephen K. Bannon, Trump's chief White House strategist, laced into the American press during an interview on Wednesday evening, arguing the news organizations had been, quote, humiliated by an election outcome few anticipated, and repeatedly describing the media as the opposition party of the current administration. So he's referring to the media as the opposition party. He goes on and says the media should be embarrassed and humiliated and keep its mouth shut and just listen for a while. That's what he said.
Well, let's keep in mind, this is Stephen Bannon.
The guy who runs a media organization.
Yeah, I was going to say, he knows a lot about media ethics,
He knows
over
how to
at
keep
Breitbart.
You know how they keep their mouth shut over at Breitbart? And they only open it to, say something anti-Semitic or incorrect about a fact. This is the guy chiding the media. So this is called authoritarianism, right? This is like, hey, if you want access, you better fucking be nice and say nice things about us, or you don't get any access, and we might put you in jail.
It's like a manager at White Castle going over to McDonald's like, your food sucks.
In all fairness, I think, people he's talking about probably should just fade into the woodwork.
That's the thing. He's not wrong in a sense that those guys are crappy journalists.
The Fourth Estate has become a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well put, Jim Earl. So there's a little bit more to this that I'll read. He said, Steve Bannon says, I want you to quote this. The media here is the opposition party. They don't understand this country. They still do not understand why Donald Trump is the president of the United States. So he's right there.
Yeah.
They do not understand this country, and they do not understand why Donald Trump is president of the United States. So he's right. They should not shut their mouths, though, even though they should shut their mouths when they're spewing frickin' propaganda launched from the DNC or a corporate think tank, which is what they've been doing since the election, screaming about Russia, Russia, Russia. That's what that is. So he's just saying it right now. The media should shut their mouth. And let me tell you, there's going to be a lot of media that shuts their mouth. I'm reminded, I don't know this person. I don't know Katie Tour from MSNBC. I'm told she's a very nice person. I'm sure she is. But I remember when Jorge Ramos was thrown out of the press conference by Trump's goon, and she referred to him as a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy, actually. He's a very nice guy. The guy who just threw the journalist out of the news conference for doing journalism, that guy's a very nice guy, actually.
He had the nicest hair while violating the Constitution. Just the nicest. What a sweet guy.
So why wouldn't? So this is what. So there. I'm gonna guess. Well, look at the Democrats. We're gonna talk about it in another video. They're already rolling over for Trump's administration picks. Oh, the resistance. I predict that the White House press corps will roll over. There's already been signs of it. I saw a reporter tweet out to the new press secretary that his second press conference was much better and blah, 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 blah. Great, good job.
He didn't call us fake news. What a nice guy.
He said, good job on your... He said that to the guy who... Anyway, so do not look for real resistance from anybody. The corporate Democrats are already rolling over, lining up, voting for this horrible...
These are the same people who 2 years ago spent 24 hours a day reporting on inflated balls.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Remember yeah. Did they puff up? You're right.
Yeah, the inflated ball thing.
From the New England Patriots, and did Tom Brady deflate the balls a little so he could get a better grip on them or not? That was really, they really went into that.
Yes.
As if it matters. Yeah. Sports doesn't. Yeah. You know what the funny thing is, and I've talked about this before, they report the sports better than they report the news.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, if actually the sports media was the standard that all the media held accountable, then we would have a much better press in this country.
Well, we've said it before. You can't report the... Because anyway, we'll get... They do it. They actually give you... The reason why people aren't starting alternative sports news places it's because ESPN is not lying to us. ESPN, if you want to know about sports, they're going to tell you what happened. Here's the score. You can see this is how many hits this guy got. There's how many outs this guy. Here's how many strikes. Here's how many balls. Yeah. There's no room for. There's no wiggle. It's just you report the facts. Journalists don't do that anymore. Journalists report, hey, the Cubs said they won 4-3. Dodgers said they won 4-3. Who really won? I guess we'll never know. That's how they report it.
The only time sportscasters lie to you is when they become political pundits, like Keith Olbermann.
Oh, I haven't watched him. I haven't watched his.
He's gone insane.
I've heard about it. Glenn Greenwald was on here talking about it. You've told me about everyone's talking about it. I can't. I remember Keith. It's such a fond memory of Keith Olbermann. I really loved him during the 2008 election, during the primary where he kept Hillary Clinton in check. So I have lots of warm memories of Keith Olbermann, so I don't want to watch his new stuff and ruin those memories.
He was on Maher the other night and said Russia invaded America.
All I'm saying, again, people don't understand what's really happening, especially rich people. If you've been super rich for a long time in this country, you're okay with the corporate Democrats. You don't see a problem. So what if we get half-price drugs from Canada? Who gives a fuck? I'm rich. I never had to worry about getting medicine. Who gives a shit if we take another great job in America and send it to another desperate person in a more poor country? Who cares? I still have my job. I'm still going to get my car washed, and I'm still going to have my maid, and my meals are cooked. I don't understand. I go to the dry cleaner. What is the problem? So that's the problem. Corporate people who should be in the Republican Party, meaning white-collar people, are now in the Democratic Party, and the Democrats have turned their back on the workers. We've talked about this. Chuck Schumer is the Senate leader of the Democrats. His strategy was to turn your back on blue-collar workers and try to go after Republican voters in the suburbs.
He's the head of the resistance.
He's the head of the resistance. So anyway, this is chilling that the White House is not. So it's going to be an all-out assault on the press, and it's an all-out assault on our country in a sense. Look at the people they're putting in the cabinet. He drained the swamp, found his cabinet at the bottom. Fantastic.
Remember when Richard Nixon turned around his own press secretary, Ron Ziegler?
No, say it again.
Ron Ziegler, remember him? He was Nixon's
I'm
press
too young for
secretary,
this.
and he got pissed off at his own press secretary.
And what did he do?
He just turned him around physically and pushed him away.
Really?
In front of cameras, yeah.
I bet there's video of that somewhere. We should get it.
Yeah, there's Google. Yeah, Google it.
I'm going to Google that. We'll get it.
I'll have another reference like Melvin Laird no one will get later
All
on.
right. The Trump nightmare is starting.